Loved it. Let's look at HANZELOT versus Reach, though. It's pick and ban. It's best of 5. Whoever wins this goes through in that 7th spot in the Europe Cup. Let's check out and see exactly how this one plays out. It's over to Sam and a say.
As two fearsome knights enter the arena, a best of 5 stands in their way. Who will it be out of reach for? Reach versus HANZELOT in our match 3, set number 1, and they're going to be kicking things off. I'm wondering if we're going to see any of the respect bans from HANZELOT, seeing what Reach used to good effect in the previous match which he played, or we've got respect bans. We've got Salah and Neftis. Salah, that's the first time it's ever been a pre-ban.
Yeah, definitely, and this is also, HANZELOT is the only person actually using this unit, so Reach is like, I played like 1700 something matches, but no one played it against me. I'm pre-banning that stuff. I just don't know how to play against, I don't want to find out. Pre-ban is a solid solution for that, and goes for that all of a first pick.
Exactly, locking in the speed lead, and we've got a speed lead on the side of HANZELOT with the Han, who has been very beneficial, and Cigar, yet again. It's a stonewall in HANZELOT's picks.
Yeah, definitely. And we have that Veronica being picked up with a Vertihal. That's somewhat of an early Vertihal, but I definitely do like it into a Cigar. But normally you see Vertihal in the 4th or 5th slot because the 4th, 5th, or the 3rd, 4th, and 5th slot of HANZELOT could be something that hard counts as a Vertihal as well.
Exactly. He's choosing right now for the Tomoe, which is obviously going to allow him to have a 24% speed lead. So it's always nice to have some speed leads when you're against the Veronica and the Oliver. And an Escher as well. Super fast base speed.
Yeah, definitely interesting to pick up the Escher here over a Yeon Hong, because HANZELOT does have that Yeon Hong that pretty much would do something similar as the Escher might do, but I would say almost better. So, but definitely Escher here can be a very fitting pick. Reach goes for, you're taking a lot of turrets, I'll just finish off with that Antares and a Douglas.
Wow, Antares did lose only 1 match last week, but he only played 1 match. So let's see if he can counter that. Escher, on the other hand as well, played 3 matches, lost 3 matches. So choosing units which statistically aren't going to be going very well, but let's see how they can work within the draft. It's all about the synergy. Can you make these things work together in order to take down the units of your other players? HANZELOT taking his time, coming in with Wusa, shields and immunity, say.
So that's definitely going to be that ban on that Veronica, and probably also the ban on the Wusa, because it is very hard to deal with that Wusa if you don't have any form of strippers, which Reach is showing right now. And probably if you draft that Antares plus Douglas, you kind of, if you go in with that confidence, you're probably knowing I'm already banning that 5th pick. So I definitely do expect a Wusa ban over there as well.
Exactly. They're thinking about the time right now. They've got the last second. There is a Wusa ban and there is an Oliver ban, which means we do have Douglas and Antares in the same field, facing off with this Tomoe speed lead and the attack on that Douglas, say. We're going into it now. Reach versus HANZELOT, match 3, set number 1. Likely going for that Escher first turn. Yes, we are.
Yes, we definitely are. The big question is going to be, can you land the stuns on that Antares at some point? That's going to be very crucial to not have the Antares move many times. And the Han has to be able to deal with the Douglas. But we see double counter already going in there. Han, do you decide to go for the Antares? Does decide to go for the Antares. Armor break lands somewhat late, but still a lot of damage over it.
Exactly. Tomoe has a 3rd skill available, so she can look to spread all of these different debuffs that are on the units, choosing to hit the Antares and causing the stun. But wow, Douglas has an answer every time he's going to get hit through this match, say.
Yeah, definitely, but I think we're gonna have Antares leaving the battlefield pretty soon right here. Decides to keep it on the field, does know that it cannot proc out instantly. But the big question is, if the Han gets an attack break here, Han gets the attack break. Han was supposed to deal with that Douglas. With an attack break, that gets so much difficult for HANZELOT's Han right there. But we do have a very crucial stun coming in from that Tomoe towards that Vertihal.
Exactly. Escher has 3rd skill, gonna take the Antares off the field. As we said before, take a unit away so you don't have to deal with it. Again with the Veronica too. He has a provoke that he could land, but against a Douglas, say.
Yeah, that's definitely a proc you don't want to have, because you don't want to hit the Vert because it's very likely triple revenge. You don't want to hit the Douglas because he just hits back. In this case, we do see the damage coming on the Vert, but the damage, if we kill the Han here, it has cleansing. Oh, it doesn't kill, can probably kill. I would say, yeah, that definitely would kill. Doesn't kill, gets the procer, and that procer is actually going to remove. Would you place? No, you cannot place the skill 3 on the Douglas right now. You have to do that in your next turn. So you have to wait cycling. I definitely do like the play of not using that skill right now, because the Han will actually cycle out of the Douglas. Big question is right now, can you do enough damage Can you land that skill 3? It's going to be multi-hitting. You're gonna say goodbye to your Han, but you definitely have to go for that skill 3 to do the maximum amount of damage. If you land it strong enough, how much damage is gonna be? Arm break pretty. Oh, he kills it! He seals the deal with the Han of HANZELOT doing enough damage to seal the deal for that Douglas.
Wow, there you go. Like his namesake, HANZELOT's Han has managed to take out the Douglas right there. And he wasn't scared at all of the Antares and Douglas as the last picks there. He said, right, take them in and I'll face off against them. We do know now that Salah and Nephthys are back in the frame in order to play in this second set. I imagine Reach maybe leans back towards it. We do have a Han ban and we have the Laura ban. Reach didn't use it in the last match, but it's a respect ban. He doesn't want to face it, Han.
Interestingly enough, I think Reach never picked up Laura yet in any of his matches, yet it has been pre-banned a few times already. So definitely an interesting ban over there, and we do see that Cigar being picked up again.
Exactly, we actually see the Cigar, and we see Reach stealing that Tomoe instead as well. We saw how much it could do in the last one. It stunned and then spread everything around and taking all of the attack bar. A unit which can now be partnered very nicely with a Nephthys and all those debuffs say.
Yeah, definitely a very nice partner of these two units, but once again, they also kind of share the same counters. If they're both outsped, if they're placed against the Heigang, if they're placed against the Juno, or any of those kind of units, they share the same counters. But Veronica actually deals very well with Heigang in this case, but once again, also share similar counters, which has potential for HANZELOT to pick up a Juno later.
Let's see then. So we've got Veronica locked in at the moment. We know now that Reach has started to play with it a little bit more. It worked well. That's why he's here in the semi-finals. Didn't end up winning, being the winning. But that unit did a lot in the last match until the very end. Maybe a little bit early?
Somewhat early, but also not too bad in this position, because HANZELOT technically has to pick two units that can deal with it to a certain extent. Or just simply face off for banning it. But the issue for HANZELOT right now is you do not know what comes fifth. So actually it's not too bad in a fourth slot right now, because it makes the draft really difficult for HANZELOT right now. And you can see that in how much time he takes. And he goes for that Lima, which is also a recent pickup from him, if I'm not mistaken. Plus that Doman.
Yeah, Doman being chosen there. We do know that it got a win in last weekend. And we have seen it earlier today with Raxaz, but it didn't quite manage to get everything through. Now Reach has got a little bit more time, thinking about what that pick could be. Wow, it's somewhat of a familiar Reach draft, I would say, overall, say.
Yeah, definitely, but definitely a unit you want to pick up here is the Robo, or you can go a premium version of that. You already have two speed leads on the field. You definitely want to add something with those speed leads, another stripper that can also probably deal with Heigang. Wunsa is a great pick for that, but the Wind Robo probably would have done it better because it also has potential to actually do stunners later.
Exactly, so Wusa probably, unless he's banned out, might be taking the first turn here. Let's see, as the bans are going to be coming in. There is speed lead options for Reach on both parts there, but if you're taking through a Douglas, there's also the attack beneficial of the leader skill. Nephthys banned out and Eshir banned out.
So in one case we have the speed unit being banned out, in the other case we actually have the damage setup being banned out. So in this case we definitely do see that the units on the side of Reach are going to take first turn in this set 2 between HANZELOT and Reach. Let's see how much that can do. Strips everything. Veronica, can you reset everyone? Resets everyone except the Cigar, and the Cigar is very crucial to reset. However, we have the Tomoe moving first. If the Tomoe lands the Karma right now, does not land the Karma, that is so disbeneficial for Reach right here, because we have that Cigar freely doing a skill 3 right now. It's probably gonna get countered by the Douglas, but that's not too much of an issue. Which are you going to target it? You're going to target it on the Veronica.
Exactly, and because of the reset that was managed from Veronica, it means Lima right now is a little bit further away from her skills, and Douglas has free reign to try and put a branding on anyone that he wants. Does he try and target that Cigar? No, he goes for the Lima, who counters with a Revenge.
Yeah, that Revenge is pretty interesting. Also, we have the Tomoe right now with the third skill, but there's not too much to spread. Does actually manage to land a very crucial Despair Stun on that Lima, taking away one extra turn for that Lima for going for that third skill anytime soon to cleanse off and also bring in healing.
Exactly, we've got Dooman going in now with first skill, but there's nothing proccing out for Lima over there, and Wusa can come in now. He has second skill available, tries to go for the first skill sleep potential, but we get a stun on the Tomoe.
Yeah, that stun on Tomoe is very crucial. Once again, those denying of the turns by these Despair Stuns is very much what you need on both sides to actually deny, because the moment that skills get online, either from that Lima right now, from the Dooman, or even from the Cigar, you can look at pretty lively units, in the case of a Lima, or very dead units in the case of a Doomon.
Wow, you can see there Curse of Death going on Douglas, meaning every time he now takes that turn, he's going to be losing way more health. So we need to try and target the Doomon realistically from reach, unless that Douglas is going to just fade away from existence.
Yeah, definitely, but on the other hand, you also have to target that Lima. If you don't hit that Lima, it's going to be the third skill from the Lima, which has a lot of immunity, a lot of healing, but also invisibility. It's going to take quite a while for Reach to actually get the damage back up if that happens.
Exactly. We've got Douglas now. He does have glancing on, but he's going to be going for the Lima and takes it out, say.
Definitely takes out the Lima, but now we're still looking at the battle. We have to take care of that Doomon. Just sleeping it wouldn't be enough. But did we just manage to sleep the Cigar, which is pretty interesting while having glancing? Very low odds, but definitely did work out right there.
Exactly. He did manage to sleep him, which obviously means that he couldn't take a turn. And it allows now Veronica, skill 3, putting the cool time straight back in there, say. I can't see HANZELOT taking a turn again too soon.
Yeah, it's gonna take quite a while, and actually, interestingly enough, about Wunsa skill 3 gives you quite a bunch of healing. So with that extra healing, you can just kind of cycle around your turns, and we do know Doomon, besides Curse of Death, doesn't do too much damage. Heigang doesn't do too much damage. So it's all the extra effects that normally do damage. And we still have 4 units alive on the side of Reach. They're not looking too lively, but lively enough to probably deal with the other 2 units after probably saying goodbye to the Cigar pretty soon to that dot.
Yeah, I think we're saying bye-bye to the Cigar, but also that Douglas. We can see there's 2 turns left for the Curse of Death, so it could definitely be falling down very soon. We're going into a Wusa, has second skill or first skill available. He's going for the first skill, doesn't land anything of a sleep, and also that suppression is going to be hurting on Veronica. He decides to use it anyway, but now it's pretty much 0 health, say.
Yeah, that's 0 health. I definitely do agree with that choice, but he was expecting to land any dots. He didn't land a single dot, and not landing a single dot really lowers the damage output from that unit right there. However, we have seen a Heigang with very low HP still managed to despair stun something, but it is technically a 4 against 1 right now. And we have that 1 turn left on the Douglas, which he definitely did need to add a lot of damage. Didn't go for the second hit, but that branding is probably enough to seal the deal with that Wounds skill round right now. And we have a 1-1 with this victory of Reach.
Wow, Reach managing to bring it back then, so we do have a 1-1 versus HANZELOT. Really useful play out of this Veronica and the Tomoe, and also just managing to keep that Douglas on the field long enough through the Curse of Death in order to do all the damage everywhere, say. I mean, right now we're going to be seeing potentially the same first bans as the first round, just because, why not? They're back on the field and people can choose it. I'm wondering as well if we actually will see a Laura today. You got a respect ban again from HANZELOT. Do you choose it in this match?
I would definitely like to see Reach picking up the Laura, but I think the Laura fits better with the Nefty. So the Nefties is banned on one match, and then the Laura is banned on the other match. So you can never have the pair of them two, and maybe that is the reason why Reach is not picking up that unit, because Laura plus a Veronica don't pair that well together. He definitely needs to have that Nefties in there. They're both deciding a little bit longer for the pre-bans in this case, which might actually signal that we're not going for the same pre-bans as in the first round, because they're thinking right now, they're looking for other options, and they're definitely taking their time on these pre-bans.
Exactly, or maybe they're just taking the time because they can't find the unit that they're wanting to actually ban, and it takes a little bit longer, because they've decided to go back for the ones that they did the first round. So they knew where they were going, they just took a while to show each other.
Yeah, maybe you're searching for the Salah and you're like, I've never seen this unit. What is his name again? How does he look like? No one is using this. I have to respect Bandit because I just don't want to play it. Reach having that first pick once again. Do you go once again for that speed potential lead, or do you go for a speed unit in general?
Yeah, he's going to have a little bit more time to figure this out. Maybe he was the one taking on that time to find that Salah, like you said. But he's deciding to go for Tomoe. It's a speed lead, which has been prevalent in every single one of the sets so far. Responded quickly with a Han and a Cigar.
Yeah, definitely going similar to match 1. Only in this case, Reach had a different speed lead in match 1 and he was fighting the Tomoe. In this case, he already has the Tomoe, pairing that with his Veronica. Would we see a Laura over here? It could be, but he goes back to that Vertihile that he very much likes.
Yeah, he's decided to go in for that Vertihile and also the Veronica, which has been doing so much in terms of the cool times. That skill 3 is very, very powerful when it lands, meaning that the other team just can't do what they want to do on the next turn. They have to wait a little bit of time, and the more time it takes, the more you can survive through that. Eshir and Amor being picked up by HANZELOT.
I definitely do like the more specifically, because the more already says if you pick up that Douglas again, I already have a counter on the field. I can pick a fifth pick that is also a counter to that Douglas. So that's pretty much saying Reach, do not play that Douglas, already have it figured out. However, we are now seeing that Laura. Do we pick Laura with another speed lead, which you probably need if you want to fight that Asher? Actually decides to go completely different and go for the Kinky.
Wow, so it's the first time we're seeing Laura. Let's see if she actually makes her way through there. HANZELOT now has that last pick to decide where he's going to go with it. I mean, against the Kinky, there's a lot of light units on the field on the side of Reach, partnered with the Fire. Maybe sometimes it makes sense to try and go for their elemental advantage, but let's see as he's taking his time to figure out that last spot for HANZELOT.
Yeah, this last spot is very difficult to fit in. I'm really liking the draft of Reach. He decides to go for the Water Pure Vanilla Cookie, which I would probably say he's going to ban out the Veronica for, but the unit has somewhat low cooldown, so you can maybe keep it in, but I'm not entirely sure what the plan is of HANZELOT to keep that unit in, because if Han is banned out, the main damage threat is banned out from HANZELOT. You have that Oblivion in there, but is that enough? Let's see.
Water Pure Vanilla, first time we've seen it in EU prelims in the second to last match, and it is going to be going through, and Laura's going to be going through, with speed leads on both teams as well. So we're going to be going straight into this third set right now between Reach and HANZELOT. Taking the first turn is going to be the Veronica. Can she land?
Veronica, can you land mainly on the Moor? Does land it on the Moor. That was the most crucial one. We can actually see Laura not going for skill 3 right away, but the skill 2, and then have a spread from Tomoe later. Is that also the plan that Reach is gonna go for? Does go for the second skill, Toy Knight, and does land it on nearly everyone. However, not enough, and we do have that immunity coming up.
Exactly, immunity, meaning that everything that could have been spread by Tomoe is not going to be able to be spread, but can she strip and put suppression onto the unit? No, Han says no, not today.
Yeah, definitely somewhat of a misser by the Veronica of not landing the cooltime increases on all of the units, having that immunity up right now. But we do see some damage potential coming in on that Han, but I don't think it is enough. Doesn't land a single dot on that Han, and Han is going to be ready to go for a simple solution.
Yeah, he's gonna... Oh, not quite yet. He's got one cooltime still on there. However, if he decides to do any violent additional turn, it could be very dangerous. But Laura is being targeted right now, since she still actually had third skill available. Cigar going in, lands provoke and defense break, but additional turn. Third skill is coming. Can he get everyone back? Not quite the Tomoe.
Yeah, doesn't land on the Tomoe for the pushback, but 2 units provoked. However, the units on the side of HANZELOT don't look too lively. However, we also have that glancing, not landing, which is pretty disbeneficial for HANZELOT right there. HANZELOT does have the simple solution right now, but we do know at some point the simple solution is not really going to work on that Kinky, and also doesn't really seem to be working on that Tomoe. Is that a 100 rest Tomoe? Could be a thing.
We might have to see, because not being able to land that defense break means that she's still at about half health right now. Big stun onto Han as well means he's not going to be taking a turn unless he has an additional turn. And more coming in. Can he push people back? Stuns. Got the stun and the kill.
Yeah, stun and the kill is definitely nice, but you wanted to have the stuns on the other units, because for that reason you also take quite some damage on the unit itself, and it still has the passive, but the Cigar would leave the battlefield from the damage over there.
Oh my god, and you can see he's now got Endure on there as well. This is pretty crazy play, because we're going to get buffs up by HANZELOT, but can he deal enough damage eventually into that Kinky set?
Yeah, that Kinky is going to be very difficult. You have to land this skill 2 on the Kinky right now. That's pretty much the only play. Does finally land it. In this case, who moves first? Probably Han has the speed buff. You can push back a little bit. Does push back. We have the simple solution right now. However, there is going to be Endure, and Endure is just going to deny the inevitable, because the unit cannot really do too much without the passive. It will take a turn right now. Probably take out the Han as well, but afterwards leaves the battlefield himself as well to just a simple skill 1.
Wow, there we go. So HANZELOT brings it back. Now it's 2-1 versus Reach. Interesting, we saw 2 different new units for the Europe prelims actually in the matches there. The eventual winner coming out as the Water Pure Vanilla Cookie, managing to not get reset by the Veronica and allowing the buffs to be on the side of HANZELOT, which really played into great effect for him. Do you think it's a unit that he's going to try and target again to bring through in this next match?
It could be. It's a very strong unit, but on the other side, the Han surviving with that sliver of health. If the Han actually left the battlefield with that Kinky S2 happening earlier, it would have been a very different match because the other two units had a lot more struggle actually killing off the King, even if it was Oblivion. But looking at this match, we have the Han and the Veronica being banned. We have HANZELOT once again picking up that cigar.
Yeah, HANZELOT getting rid of that Veronica. It was doing too many cool times inserted into his units, which meant he couldn't get a turn off. And now Reach following up with the classic again for Reach this time. It seems to be his speed lead of choice is Tomoe, partnering it with that Nephthys. And we see Escher and a Chiwu, no, deciding against, but Escher, another unit with not a very good win rate this weekend, say.
Yeah, but he actually switches it around for a Hey Gang, which is a unit with a very good win rate. So definitely do like to see that being picked up. Interestingly enough, HANZELOT is not really digging too much into his LD box. He still has that Jan Hong in there. He still has that Narsha in there. He has a lot more units in there that could potentially work at some point. But decides to go, look, nope, my normal elemental net 5s and even a net 3 on the 2A are the better picks here in this scenario. Reach. Are you going to contest more speed? Definitely signaling some more speed, contesting with that Laura, but also keeping in that third.
Exactly. HANZELOT still has Solar in his back pocket as well. We know how much work it did last weekend, but is he going to be bringing it through again into this match here today? He's got a Lima on the field so far. Let's see if he can follow it up with any of the other potential LDs that he has, or if he decides to go for something a little bit different. We see him. Is he locked in though?
That's where we're gonna go with the Salah. I also really like the combination of Lima together with Hey Gang, because even if there's debuffs and it's been stripped, you get those push-ups, which is very nice. Salah can do a lot of work in this match as well, but I was gonna say, none of these units can deal with Mr. Douglas. So we're definitely gonna see Douglas on the field. Technically, Lima with invisibility on the skill can kind of deal with the Douglas, but I think you have to respect the Douglas on the field, ban it off. Other side, who do you ban off? I would probably say that Hey Gang.
Yeah, let's see if they are going to be those bans, or is there going to be a respect ban for that Salah, since we know how much work it was doing last week. We've got a Lima ban and we have a Douglas ban.
Yeah, Lima ban was pretty much Reach being afraid of being like, okay, you kind of have to ban the Douglas, but if you ban that Laura right now, I keep the Lima in, it's going to be very much a difficult match because there's no strippers. But we go into set 4 with HANZELOT taking first turn. Salah, how much can you do? Can you stun?
Oh.
Actually stuns and silences the same target right away. We have cross the board, glancing, looking right away, and that bird is not going to take too many turns.
It is not, and the glancing is going to be so crucial. But Tomoe didn't get reset, so she still has skills available right now. There is glancing on her, and any strip, if that suppression does a strip, does mean that it's going to push up the bar. There we go. Hey Gang's passive coming into effect. Nothing can really be spread right now.
Yeah, going for skill 3 right there is definitely not the play, but going for skill 1 that stuns is very nice.
Here we go. Salah coming in again, managing to put some more silences, some more heal blocks around the field, which is always beneficial. There's actually no sustain on the side of Reach as well, so it's slowly going to be whittling down the HP of all of Reach's monsters.
Yeah, definitely. What we have to see is those multiple critters on the side of that third hill. If the multiple critters happen and Nephthys can finally get her skills back up, we can maybe turn around this match. But until then, it's just very dire of just like a bunch of S1s. In this case, do manage to stun. Once again, Laura being denied for those turns.
Wow. Salah coming in, managing to land everything that he seems to need to at the critical moment. We do have a resistance on Nephthys. Is this an opportunity? It's not on, or maybe it didn't proc, maybe it was on violent, I'm not 100% sure, sir. You're an owner of one of these now. You can probably know what's the best for that.
Yeah, definitely. Your Nephthys is always going to be on violent. If he had the violent proc on that Nephthys right there at that moment, would have been a very different match. But in this case, we see everything working kind of in the favor of HANZELOT. But this is where we see, oh, we did not land that suppression. You can go for the spread right now, but we're going to see a Nephthys skill 2 coming up after this. So probably it's best to keep this in. Go for that skill 2 right now. We have the Verde help moving after. If nothing procs out on the side of HANZELOT, this might be the turnaround of the match.
This is the opportunity that Reach has been waiting for right now. He's getting the opportunity still, because Verdi's going to take the move now and push up Tomoe to spread even more.
Yeah, and besides the spread, you're also pushing back all of the attack bars. So I'm not sure how much damage is this Nephthys. Is this going to be a heavy damage Nephthys, or... because you only can silence one unit right now. You cannot silence multiple units, so you have to choose. Who do you silence? Silences the Escher. In this case, not too much damage, but we have a lot of cycling going on with that Verd. But would this be enough for Reach to fully reset this match?
Exactly. He needs to take as many turns as he possibly can right now, and that's why Verd is important on the field for him. Is he going to choose to take out the unit? And like we said before, if there's a monster that you can take out, try and take it out in these competitions.
We had the glancing on the Hey Gang, but instead of landing the glancing back, it decided to go for a stun on that Vert, and that's going to deny a lot of the cycling and denies that turn. That turn would have actually killed the Cigar. So that Hey Gang despair stun actually flips the matchup back again and gives it in the driver's seat for HANZELOT.
Wow, we've had a full flip-flop of the whole match right now. Verd might have something to say, though.
Verd is definitely a strong target here, and he still has full HP, so even if you start tumbling damage into him, you have to stun him multiple times to actually get rid of him. But this Asher can probably seal the deal for this Adna. Does not do enough damage, but this Hey Gang will say, I will clean up your mess. But on the other side, we also have Cigar leaving the battlefield. Verd Heil, how much can you do?
Yeah, it's going to all be up to Verd right now, realistically. It's as HANZELOT is targeting to get rid of that Tomoe, thinking that he can already deal with that Verd potentially. But Tomoe, can she get a stun as well as her suppression on there? No.
Ooh, too bad not. This glancing has to land. The glancing does land. Very crucial for the side of HANZELOT. Can decide to go for skill 2 right now, but definitely would not do it with that suppression. Verd, how many critters? Does land a single critter if I'm not mistaken, but that's still very nice on the value for Breach. He needs those critters in the next round as well.
Here we go then. So Tomoe is going to be coming through skill 1. But it's looking very dire, and I think we might be having HANZELOT through, because if he gets down this Tomoe, Verd with a glancing say, he's not going to be doing so much against the water and the light unit.
No, it's going to be very much an uphill battle, plus Tomoe is nearly leaving the battlefield, but actually has the chance of getting skills back up. Maybe despair stunts? Despair stunts on one, however, it's gonna leave the battlefield herself as well later on. But I do think that this Asher is tanky enough. The Verd Heil is not doing too much damage. We're gonna have a new set of glancing hits. Glancing hit on from fire to water does mean that you have 0 chance of critting. Does land double critters over here. Actually cycles through his skills pretty well. Are you gonna kill Verd? Are you gonna do it?
Oh my god, he does kill the Asher.
Verd goes for
Verd versus...
Verd versus Hey Gang, so we're doing 1 case on one side and how many on the other side? We're doing 4k. Okay, Hey Gang was gonna win that. Yeah, 4 against 1, those are odds that I don't really like, even though we have the cycling, but you also have to go for the crits. You heal a little bit, but that was a crit. No, wait, it's actually super close. This could go 4.5k, 4.5k. How much damage if you double crit right now on an S2? Would you seal the deal? Does nearly double, no. I think it double crit, but not enough damage.
What?
That's slightly bit extra damage on either of the 2 units.